Good evening, everyone. So, for those who have cleared, congratulations. Those who have not cleared, definitely there is a roadmap ahead, right? So, we are here to guide you. There is a path, clear-cut path, how you can definitely improve. I'm sure those who have cleared this year definitely might have failed some of them in the previous attempt, and they have corrected the way they have prepared for the examination. So today in this session, myself, Manjunath sir and Ashish sir, we are going to discuss in depth about what is the way forward for all the category of students, those who have cleared majorly and those who didn't clear, and those who want to improve this course, right? So overall preparation. So now what I have understood in this examination, being in this examination as an aspirant and as somebody who founded this institution in past 11 years, you should not give up, number one. But again, you should not, when we say you should not give up, those who haven't cleared, there should be a certain awareness that what went wrong in previous attempt. For example, just now before coming, I met two aspirants. They said they were expecting 90 plus in paper 1, around 75 to 80 in CSAT. So last year they had failed in CSAT, but even then they have given hardly 4 or 5 mock interviews of CSAT, and that too in the month of March or April. So effort was not put in order to improve the CSAT paper. So that awareness coupled with sincere efforts to improve what is lacking in your preparation, that must be there. So now I won't be talking much in this particular session because we have two of our expert core faculties who will be analyzing in depth what must be done. So 2 to 3 things. Those who are writing mains this year, my advice: number one, don't spend too much time on the optional paper. Right. So if you have 70 days left, maybe 20 days efforts for optional. Don't put too much efforts into optional. Do enough to secure 250 to 260 marks. Even if you haven't started with optional, even if you haven't completed, ensure that you don't spend entire time on the optional. So for smarter way, you should contact the faculties. My suggestion is that be perfect with last 10 years or last 10 to 15 years previous year question papers and create model answers. Absolutely be perfect with them. And I think that itself is the good beginning. So then maybe you can join test series and do value addition. Second point you should remember, the don't change the content overall. There should be content enhancement, value addition to your notes, but coupled with answer writing practice. Right. So only attending classes, crash courses without doing any answer writing practice is futile. Third, because time is less, minimum 5 to 10 answers every day. Right. Whichever subject. 5 to 10 answers every day, at least 2 essays every week. This should be the way forward, and everything you write should be validated, should be evaluated, validated, assessed by experts. Blindly practicing without getting them assessed, evaluated is suicidal. So don't rely on AI, don't rely on online tools. Meet the people who are experts in these fields. For instance, throughout the mains duration, I am going to be available for essay and ethics evaluation. So you can bring your essay and ethics answers, more of essay especially, and get them evaluated. Fourth, you have to identify weaknesses within each subject answers and within the answers. What I mean by is that paper 1 requires different orientation, paper 2 requires different orientation, ethics requires different approach to answer writing. Similarly, essay has its own entirely different way of approaching the paper. You should know, you should not apply same formula for all GS 1, 2, 3. Every paper requires individualistic approach. And then within the answer, you must, in the you must not, in the rush to complete the paper, should write what comes to your mind in the first instance, the obvious stuff. So efforts must be put to write analytical introductions, not a merely factual introduction. So now the game is how to get 10 to 20% extra marks in each and every answer. So you may be scoring 5, now how to increase it to 5.5 to 6 marks. So identify those areas within answers where you need to maximize the marks. It can be better introduction, it can be prioritization of points, better structuring, addressing every part of the question, identifying which part is missing. In the previous test, if you go and analyze within the answer, for example, if discuss is the keyword, right, it requires more comprehensive approach. If it is analyzed, it requires more comprehensive approach. So you might have missed one or two parts in the answer because you might have ran out of the space because you started writing more about one of the parts. So next answer writing, next test, you must identify which part you need to improve within the answers, whether it is introduction, prioritization, creating more parts and answering all the parts, is improving creativity also some cases. Can you save words by going for more diagrammatic approach? So this conscious approach is important. Similarly, conclusion. Conclusion never write for the sake of writing, thus something. Right? There must be conscious effort to make your conclusion also stand out. So that original aspect, more analytical. Again, the fifth point is that essay to ethics paper, right? Analysis must be there, right? Other day I was just reading the notification part for the freshers in the orientation. I noticed the word analysis. Depth of understanding is there, but the word analysis is very much prominently there in the notification paragraph just before the main syllabus. Ability to analyze. So I don't see analysis in many of the answers. 80% is factual component. There is no analytical. Analytical is what? When you analyze, there is opinion, there is analysis in terms of pros and cons, there is analysis of implication, there is analysis of in terms of closely examining each and every part of that particular issue. That analysis, reasoning part, reasoning is also very much part of the analysis. I don't see the reasons in some of the cases. Examples themselves are the reasons, not a argument, not a statement, not a logical argument. So you have to identify all these aspects and improve. Otherwise, the highest marks last year in the mains is 863. Mark my words, it won't go away. It won't go above 860 this time. Somewhere 850 or it can be 840 higher score. Optional marks will come down another 10 marks. Essay will come down another 5 to 10 marks. Ethics might come down another 5 to 10 marks overall. So the highest marks anybody can score in mains can come down to 850 or remain at 860. But more likely it is going to be less than 860. But the number of vacancies are going to remain how many? For this attempt, this notification, how many? 970? 979. So 30 less than 35 less than the last year. It is not a significant reduction, the numbers, but whereas the marks is a significant reduction. For every 1 mark, now there is going to be 1 or 2 extra competitor. So how do we gain extra marks? Content enhancement, value addition, many people misprioritize, focus so much on that, not showing them in their answers. Many people practice like madly, but without any content enrichment. So it is a mechanical practice. Some people focus so much on the optional, they compromise these. Some people focus so much on GS 1, 2, 3, compromising the essay or the ethics paper. Essay is like very, as an afterthought. If it is there in the test series, you will come and write. Right? So you have to approach mains in a very clinical approach, right? Strategize based on your strengths and weaknesses after discussing with the experts. And we have another program, core batch for mains, CBM, confidence building measure, CBM, core batch for mains. So every day 10 answers, right? Every day 10 questions we are giving, mostly analytical questions to force you to write analytical answers. And they are structured in such a way that for GS1 there are 3 10-question tests followed by full length. So 4 tests for GS1 in a span of 5 days. So 3 10 10 10 question, 3 days test, 1 day gap, and then there is full length GS test, and then there is one essay test, and then GS2. I think what is the intention behind this series is that you will get a very serious peer group, and it is fixed. So afternoon 2:30 to 4:30. So 1 hour 15 minutes is the offline, and we are giving half an hour extra for online people so that they want to upload and other, to take care of the other aspects. So you will come and write in that fixed slot for next 40 days. So what it does is that it will whatever you are learning in the morning and in the evening, so you are applying on a daily basis, and then there is personalized mentorship. So you will come and show your answers to us, and we will evaluate, and then we'll divide group based on the optional, or we'll divide, make a group of 4 to 5 individuals. So after every test you can sit and discuss and exchange the points and learn more efficiently. So that is the intention of core batch for mains, and wish you all the best. There are so many things. I don't want to discuss in detail. Essay, definitely I will take a separate session for essay just to discuss my viewpoint, my perspective about the essay. So over to Manjush, okay, Ashish sir. So wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I hope that I'm audible to the online students and till the last one, right? So in the today's session, the objective is mainly to discuss about the roadmap till the mains or till December. Okay. So most of the students, so the students who are sitting here, how many of you have cleared the prelims? Be honest. Okay. How many of you are not clear? How many of you have not cleared the prelims? Are the rest of the people, right? So, am I audible? Okay. So, in this session, what we are going to do is very simple thing. That is, what these students who have cleared the mains, what they should do ideally. Second is the students who are not cleared, what can they do? This is what we are going to focus mainly upon, right? So for that, what I am trying to do, is it resonating? Is it resonating? Hi, Anna. Clearly? Right. So, so there are 3 categories of the students. One, who are writing the mains on 22nd of August. Correct? 22nd of the August. This is the one category of the students. Second category of the students is the students who have just completed their basic classes as of now, and they want a roadmap till December. The third category of the students is basically the one who are just ongoing classes, just started the preparation. So these are the 3 categories of the students that what we have, and each one of them have only one thing in common, that is a static time period. Example. So out of these 3 categories of the students, I will focus mainly upon basically this category of the students. Manju sir will speak about the first, that is what is the thing, or I will also give some idea that today is basically so called as 12th of June. So let us consider June, July and August. So to tell essentially the students who are writing the mains, you are having precisely and exactly 70 days. Am I right? Each day average, the students who are writing the mains, what they should do and how they should plan is completely in a reverse engineering manner. How? Daily, you can prepare maximum for 11 to 12 hours. 11 to 12 hours. If you consider 12 hours of your preparation per day, you are going to have something called as 840 hours. 840 hours cumulatively from today till so called as 22nd of August. That is your means. Am I right? This is the only static thing that is going to remain with you. Everything will change. You have to do everything. GS vagera. Now in this 840 hours, what you have to do, I will just write. First, you have to do general studies preparation, paper 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1. Second is your essay. Third is your optional paper 1, optional paper 2. Okay. Now, these are the three components that what you do. But isme there are three more components. Those are first, that is none other than your so-called as current affairs. Okay, one. Second is revision. And third is test. Logical? These are the 6 major components which you have to do it at any cost in 840 hours. The students who are writing the mains examination. Ideally speaking, in 840 hours, you should be writing at least, let us consider if you are writing the number of the test that you are going to write for GS paper 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let us assume every paper you will write 2 sectional tests and 1 comprehensive test. 2 sectional tests, 2 sectional tests, 2 and 2 sectional tests with 1 comprehensive test. That is 3 tests per paper. That those are nothing but 12 tests. 12 tests. And essay, let us assume that you will write minimum 6. Correct? Same for optional paper 1, section A ka 1 test, section B second test, comprehensive paper 1 1 test, same another 6 test for the optional paper. That is 6 test. So that is total 24 tests you have to write at any cost. Am I right? 24 to 30. You have to write it. Let us assume you are writing 25 tests. 25 tests is none other than basically 3 hours. That is 75 hours you have to invest in the test at any cost. Without that, on this day, you will not able to take it in writing from me. I hope you are understanding. So out of 840 hours, basically if I am right, इसमें से 75 hours तो चला गया. I will say मोटा माटी 80 hours are gone. Correct? So out of this 840, I am just trying to divide it. Out of this 840, let us consider 80 is for what? Test. Minimum timer, you can write more also. I am saying minimum. Okay? This is what reverse engineering does. Test सबसे पहले किया. Now imagine one subject. Manju will be discussing GS2. GS paper 3, if I speak, you are having 6 subjects. In GS paper 2, you are having 3 major aspects. Right? 6 major subjects: economy, environment, disaster management, internal security, science and tech. If you keep on reading, it will take a lot of time. Am I right? Logical speaking. So now, in GS paper 3, you should try to cover every paper within 60 hours. Maximum 60 hours. 60, 60, 60 or 60. Am I right? Comprehensive coverage of each and every point of the syllabus with PYQs and integration of the current affairs of every paper. Why I am giving this much hour? Because this is constant. Only thing that is constant from today, that is 12th of June till something called as 22nd of August, is something called as this much hours. What can be increased with respect to this 70 days? You can increase the time. How much it can be increased? Maximum to 850 or 870 hours. इससे ऊपर नहीं होता. मतलब effective hours. Am I right? Especially I am focusing upon the students who are writing this year mains. Manju is focusing upon the students also. Correct? So let me first dwell with these students. So out of this 60, 60, 60, that is 240 hours will be gone for general studies preparation. It has to go, right? So second component out of this 840 is 250 hours for general studies का preparation, that is reading. ये preparation नहीं है, ये reading है. GS all reading component. Correct? Now, if I say revision component of the same notes that what you have. Now tell me, here problem क्या होता है? If you are not having precise notes of social justice and governance, right? You will not know what to read. Transparency, accountability कहाँ से पढ़ूँ मैं, right? If you are not having the notes with respect to GS paper 1 or with respect to GS paper 3, Indian economy and associated issues respected to planning, mobilization of the resources, right? Employment. If you are not having that, how can you revise and how can you prepare that? If you are not knowing कि in complete GSP paper 3, there are only 4 questions on internal security. There are 4 questions on agriculture which you neglect and where analytical abilities are needed. For that, you should have holistic understanding plus micro notes which can be helpful for revision. Generally, if you are having notes with you, And if you're continuously reading and underlining the basic points, then the time required to revise your handwritten notes is basically almost 20% of the time. Logical? So what I mean, if you are having 60 hours of the classes are done, example, and if you are having the notes, let us consider 200 page notes or 250 pages ka notes, example. I'm just giving scientific way, yeah? 250 pages handwritten notes. 1 hour mein maximum you can read 12 pages handwritten notes, huh? Handwritten. For example, if you attended Manju Sir classes, what are the notes that he dictates in the classes? You can read 12 pages, that is 6 pages back to back. How many are the total pages? 250 pages. That means how much hours you will need to read basically 250 pages? You will need how much time? It is almost about 12 hours. Am I right? So an average revision के लिए another 10, 10, 10 or 12 hours. 12 4 48, 50 hours I am giving for revision. What will be done? You guys neglect GS paper 4. You guys neglect essay. Correct? So basically I am giving basically almost about, let us consider 50 hours for revision of GS paper 1, 2, 3 and 4. Am I right? Correct? Now coming to the most important point which is neglected by the aspirants, essay paper. Essay paper is also of 250 marks. Correct? Yesterday I was going through the certain, I would say, the toppers marks. The scores that they have received in essay paper is 138, 125, vagera, vagera. In GS paper 2, as Manju Sir was telling me, students are scoring 120 plus, who are not knowing the right keywords, right way to answer the things. Now, if you are not having that, the amount of the score, the edge that you are going to get in the mains examination will decline. That is why the chances to clear this examination will decline. Example, let us assume if the cutoff is basically 800, right, and you are writing the mains as of now. But if you are not able to complete the paper, if you are not writing the good answers, then with respect to mains cutoff, your edge will be maximum 10 to 20 marks. That means in interview you have to get 180 marks minimum to just enter into final list. So you should take the edge in mains only, because mains is the actual examination. So most of the students who are not cleared this examination right now, don't consider this as a honeymoon period, that is from June to December. It is the actual time when actual preparation of the UPSC takes place. I hope you are understanding. It is very, very clear. Because imagine if you are writing this examination, you have to prepare in this 3 months as if you are really writing on 22nd of August. Then only you will understand what are the flaws in my preparation. Whether I am really able to revise GS paper 1 in 50 hours, whether I am able to revise GS paper 2 in 50 hours, yes or no. If you are not, then nothing will happen. So that is why for essay, I personally feel you should give another minimum 50 hours for the essay. Because it is a 250 marks paper. So if you just count it, it is about 350 plus 80, that is about 430. Am I right? Now, other than this, now comes the major part, that is none other than optional. Correct? Optional has basically 500 marks weightage. Correct? 500 marks weightage. Whatever the total amount of the notes that what you have with respect to optional, you will be having handwritten maximum 1000 to 1200 pages ka notes hona chahiye, handwritten. And you should refer to the standard books, because just taking the notes of or borrowing the notes of some other person is not converting into the marks in the recent times. You should be having that type of analytical skills, right? For optional, I personally feel you have to devote another 250 to 300 hours. Am I right? Correct? So basically, if you just count all this, that is 500, 600, 680 hours. One component is major component that is still remaining. But here in this GS preparation, for example, when we take intensive bridge course, we are integrating each and every current affair in this GS paper 2 and GS paper 3, GS paper 1, 4. For example, just now GS 2 was completed by Manjunath Sir. He integrated all the major governance related issues, polity related issues within. He completed everything within 9 days. Getting the point? Similarly, I will be dealing with GS paper 3, which starts on 14th of June within 60 to 70 days, 70 hours. 10 days mein pura khatam hoga. Logical? Now, current affair is integrated, but you will also need some time to basically revise it. So, uska bhi component hai, current affairs. Current affairs is most important for two major subjects, that is none other than paper 2 and paper 3. Am I right? Paper 2 and paper 3, correct? Because most of you finally refer to Insights Mains 365 compilation or any other institute. Am I right? But kitna hota hai pages Mains 365 compilation? Almost this much big. You will take time. So for reading that also you will take time. Let us assume for current affairs, you need something called as basically 100 hours. Maximum 100 hours. Correct? You should not allocate this much, but rather I would say this is the ideal thing that should happen. So if you calculate all of this thing together, that is 250 plus 250, 500, 600, 680, 780. So 780 hours, correct, will be there. Logical, you can reduce a time on current affairs by another 20, 30, I would say hours, and you can do something called as second or third revision. Correct? Because already here I have given the time for revision. Already I have allocated time for the test. Already I have allocated time for the current affairs and basically GS. Am I right? Ideally, the students who are writing this examination, keep in mind what I have seen the students. हाँ sir, I have everything ready. मेरा पूरा हो चुका है, मेरे पास है. What is only one thing that is constant is none other than from 12th of June, that is from today, your examination will 100% take place on 22nd of August. This time period is the only constant that what we have. Am I right? Am I right? आपके पास सिर्फ 850 hours है जिंदगी के, where you can make or break. What I have seen the students doing, they get lost in this GS1, GS2, GS3 and GS4 and optional paper also. Why? I will just tell you one simple example. GS paper 1, how many questions are there? 20. Out of 20, 9 questions are from geography, 4 to 5 questions are from society, 6 questions are from history. Now history में कितना subjects है? Another 4. Ancient, art and culture, modern, post-independence, world history. हो गए 5. Getting the point? How are you going to cover that in this much time? We know it. What to study, what not to study. 6 major subjects in GS paper 3. How to do it in this much time? We know it. I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say, that this is where the expertise come into the role. I hope you got it. For example, let us consider GS paper 2, which is mammoth of 250 marks. Students who have attended Manjunath Sir ka classes were able to complete it in 9 days. He made them to sit daily for 8 hours. But ho gaya na pura khatam. Now they are ready with this GS paper 2. Now what they have is his handwritten 250 pages notes. What they need is just 12 hours to revise this. That's it. And what uske upar karna hai unko? What they have to do? They have to write test, 3 tests, baat khatam. Am I right? In the same way, the rest of the students should do. They should plan in the right way. What happens? I will tell you. You have a still mindset that optional mein I will get 310, 300. Gone are those days. Irrespective, on the mic I am telling, anthro ka bhi zamana gaya. There are still results from anthro, 290 plus, rarest of rare case, just like Supreme Court judgment, sir. Right? Gaya, 290 plus in any optional. 260, if you are getting the 260, 270, matlab you are doing very good. But to get 260 or 270, you should be very strategic. What you guys do, first thing, you allocate maximum time for the optional. Optional is of 500 marks. Am I right? Optional is of 500 marks. This is of 1250 marks. Ideally, time should be 2.5 times more given to this. Correct? What do we do? Daily we are studying for 12 hours. उसमें से 6 hours optional, 6 hours GS, 50-50. Why is this time splitting itself is incorrect? Am I right? देखो मैं ये 1250 marks का पेपर है. In this, why this happening? Because we completely neglect this paper, guys. This paper is 100% neglected. Why? Rangamanju got 138. That is about 140 marks. 140 marks in essay paper. कितना ज़्यादा होता है समझ रहे हो आप? ऑप्शनल में 120 लाना भी इतना पढ़ना पड़ता है. essay में लाया 140. What I want to tell here, make a point is, this is now a game changer. Trust me, guys. इसमें average is basically 250 to 270. 100%. And this I'm telling it on the basis of analysis of this year marks, nothing else. But for that, you should be very strategic in this preparation. You should know what to prepare, how much to prepare, and from where to prepare. Because the syllabus is very vast, very comprehensive, very dynamic. You will need 100% expert guidance, and at that time comes the role of the mentors. समझ में आ रहा है आपको? For example, the students who are not writing will not understand this, but students who are writing this year means उनको पता है मेरे दिमाग पे क्या क्या करूँ मैं, भाई सर इतना बड़ा है मैं क्या करूँ इसमें से, अभी मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. मेरा तो प्रिपेयर्ड है सर, पॉलिटी मेरा प्रिपेयर्ड है, लेकिन यू आर प्रिपेयर्ड पॉलिटी फ्रॉम प्रीलिम्स पर्सपेक्टिव. दे आर नॉट आस्किंग फ्रॉम प्रीलिम्स पर्सपेक्टिव नाउ. मीन्स लिखना है, आर्ग्यूमेंट लिखना है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट जजमेंट लिखना है, जीएस पेपर 3 में इकोनॉमिक सर्वे लिखना है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल AI with respect to employment, whether it is a boon or a bane, this is a chapter in an economic survey. क्या लिखोगे? इकोनॉमिक सर्वे में एक चैप्टर है AI and digitalization, whether it is a boon or a bane, and उसके ऊपर पूरा है. If I ask you to write the answer within 7 minutes now, 10 markers के लिए, कुछ लिख पाओगे? कैसे लिखोगे? For this you need analysis. Correct? If I speak about agriculture, tell me how is MSP distorting the cropping pattern in India? Tell me with the case studies. लिख पाओगे? बेसिक्स लिख पाओगे? हाँ सर MSP मुझे पता है, बेसिकली इंसेंटिव गिवन बाय द गवर्नमेंट 24 क्रॉप्स के लिए है, खरीफ एंड रबी, डिसाइडेड बाय CSEAP रिकमेंड, CCEA फाइनलाइज करता है. अरे वो थोड़ी लिखेगा. क्वेश्चन क्या है? हाउ इज इट डिस्टॉर्शनरी, विच क्रॉप्स, वेयर, व्हाई, हाउ इट कैन बी रिड्यूस्ड. करेक्ट? समझ में आ रहा है आपको मुझे? दैट मीन्स एवरी सब्जेक्ट हैव इट्स यूनिक डिमांड which you should understand. Especially this is for the students which are having only 850 hours who are writing this year means. Right? So first, when I started to sum up, when I started this session, I have divided the students into 3 categories. One, who are writing this year means, about whom I am right now speaking about. Second is the students who are basically going to complete or who have completed the basic classes, who have their foundation done well, but till December what should they do ideally? Manjunath sir will speak about this. But speaking about these guys who are right now, unke paas ek hi thing constant hai, that trust me guys, that is 850 hours. If you are not knowing how to use it, you are out of the race. Getting the point? पूरा उल्टा सोचो, मेरे पास इतना ही टाइम है, ideally you can read this much only because this will not change, right? Am I right? The students who are writing the mains, where are you? Are you here? इतना ही constant है ना आपके पास भैया. So basically इसको कैसे divide करोगे? For example, if you are doing this on your own, then it is a nightmare for you. I hope you are understanding. So please make help of the faculties. They will literally help you what to do and what not to do. Is it clear? If you have any doubt related to your, especially related to GS paper 3, you are free to message me at this Telegram ID, okay, where G and A is capital. These two are capital. Is it clear? I will be here only, but let Manjunath sir speak about this second category of the students, and then again we will discuss finally what to be done and how language is to brought into the answer writing. Let Manjunath sir speak about this. I hope you got the idea about this. What should you do? For again I am revising, summing it up. Students who are writing this means you are having 6 things to do. 1, GS का पूरा प्रिपरेशन. सेकंड essay, मतलब टोटल 5 GS पेपर्स है, कंसिडर 5 GS पेपर्स. सेकंड योर ऑप्शनल. थर्ड करंट अफेयर रिवीजन टेस्ट. You have limited time. Divide it now only. Depending upon this division, you will have your own strength and weaknesses. You will be having your own notes. So depending upon that, calculate the time. If the syllabus is not completed from the mains perspective, please, I will emphasize that you do join intensive bridge course. Also, the students who are not writing this time, definitely it will be helpful for the next time. Trust me on this, because to cover up this, it will take a long time. After that, I will emphasize the students to write a lot, essay and test. Is it clear? So, this is how the time division, if you are doing it, because this much is the only constant, that is why I am asking you to do that. That is why I have done this with respect to total time, I have taken the time and the total number of the hours. This is the ideal strategy which I followed during my mains preparation, which have really yielded me a good result, which helped me to confine myself in the right way. Are you understanding it? For this, we are with you in the form of basically intensive bridge course. Please do see the orientation session, you will get an idea. Is it clear? So I will hand over to Manjunath sir. He will be speaking about the what to be done till December, the students who have not cleared the prelims, right? And again, we will continue with this finalize, summarize, we will summarize with respect to how I would say how more effective the answers can be written. That part we will keep it in the end. I hope you got it. Over to Manjunath sir.
Okay, good evening all. So, how many of you have cleared here? Okay, fine. Congratulations. So that means most of you. What was your scores range?
105 to 115.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that
This is at 100 plus.
100 plus?
Yeah. Last
I mean, you cleared them, right?
Yeah, I cleared.
Okay, fine. And how many of you are giving mains like not even first time, I'm telling like second, third, fourth, second mains?
Second mix.
Second mains. So you gave last year or before that?
25.
Last year.
Last year, right.
So,
24.
right. So what was your experience? Where did you miss out?
I missed out, sir. Ethics, another 10-15 marks I should have got in ethics.
Okay.
And options at least like 30 more marks.
You got the interview call or?
No, sir, I didn't get it.
Optional?
Option I had to get another 30 marks at least.
Okay, what was your optional?
And through.
Volume. Solve English volume. Okay, fine. I think you Ashish, so I think you have been 22 or 23. Okay. First mains.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else giving mains again, like second, third time? Second time. So last year you gave or before that? 22. Okay, fine. Okay, so I'm just trying to ask so that depending on the crowd we can do it. So that means others you gave the attempt, not or you did not give the attempt this time. Kutila. Okay, so others, at least how many gave, how many did not clear? Oh, okay, fine. So that means those who are not, because based on that we have to discuss how to approach the next classes and all those things. So for those obviously who have cleared mains, so Ashish sir has already dealt with in detail, obviously he has gone into a lot of micro details about scheduling and all those things. For just, of course, we'll come back. So for you guys, again we discuss separately because you guys are the major focus now because you'll be going to write mains. Let us say, for example, those people who will focus on these two categories now. Means let's again subdivide. Let us assume one kind of category are there where my basic classes are done. Means what do you call this? Polity basics, geography basics, economy basics, all those basics I have done, environment, everything. Optional also I have done the classes, but revision once or twice I have revised NCRT, once or twice I have revised Lakshmikant. I still don't have any specific notes for mains. I only whatever he has done in the normal GS classes, that only I have the notes. And I have still not gone through PVQ analysis, I have still not written mock test for 3 hours, all those categories. If you are in that level of category, obviously first major suggestion what you have to do is, so don't assume that I am going to give again next year, so I am just keep preparing for NCRTs only now or revise the basic Lakshmikant or all those things. Of course you have to do it anyhow now, but always understand, as we keep telling normally, this is what based on experience I can tell you. See, always mains is the bigger circle. The more and more you prepare for mains, that is the more and more you will also have a hold on prelims. Like for example, I remember, because Ayush was continuously in touch, she was in core batch. So she continuously kept on preparing for both prelims as well as mains. Now, whatever, at least 1 year I have been around, I think, for core batch. So that has yielded her results now. So she kept on preparing for mains also. Of course, she had written mains, agreed. So, but still 1 year, or 1.5 years, she was not in touch probably. So now she came back and then started to prepare for mains again last year. Same approach. First point, what you have to do is, again, I think sir has already made it clear. You can enter right from here till December, 100% or let's say maximum time dedicate for mains. And first misconception, please take out in the mind. If you are preparing for mains, don't tell yourself, oh, that means I am neglecting prelims. First, let me clear prelims, then come back to mains. It is not going to happen like that. Mains is always the real game. And the more and more you have the hold on mains, automatically your prelims also will get revised. Understood? So please make sure that there are two ways of again approaching. One, obviously you can say, I mean, there is absolutely you have to do it. One is obviously you should have subtopic wise notes. Without that, if you don't have notes, it's impossible to revise. If you can't revise multiple times, it's impossible to recollect your definitions, conclusions, so many arguments, articles, or economic survey or ethics examples. So many things are there. It's impossible to recall just like that if you don't have revision. This exam is purely revision based exam. If you want to revise a number of times, that means imagine how should be your notes. How many times you should have revised your notes. And always remember, if you go, I mean, just for your clarity, I'm telling you, any syllabus point you go and look at your mains, right from GS1 to GS2, including your optional, almost every question will be according to whatever is mentioned in the syllabus. One or two questions might be kind of what you call a bouncer kind of a question that you can't prepare. That depending on your broader understanding you get. Mains is not like your prelims. Because in prelims what will happen, if in case you have given prelims once also you'll know that where is this coming from, why are they asking this question, it's not given because syllabus is not clear at all. That just mentioned some 8-9 points. Mains is not like that. GS2 syllabus itself is 19 subtopics. You'll have 20 questions. Almost every subtopic you'll have a question. So first point, from here till December, I am talking about those who have just done the basics, but are not still clear about what to do for mains, all those things. Please sit and make your notes first. If you do notes, then revision. Then everything should go together. First is notes making. So how should I do it? Obviously, one is you can sit and analyze, like for example, just for your clarity, in YouTube we have done so many sessions on how to do the PYQ analysis in the principal thing. Please go through it. You'll get a very, very good idea. Sit. You can make it on your own, obviously, agreed. Self-made notes also you can do it. But challenge is obviously it will take time. Or else you can reach out to us, we'll help you. That is one way. Then if you do it by, let's say for example, 1 or 2 months, then happens what? Revision. Every day when you revise, you should write. Every day you should write. Always remember you should write in time. If you don't put the timer and write, it's impossible. Because time management is also important, space management is also equally important. If you are not able to complete the paper within 3 hours, you ask anybody who has written mains, he'll tell you that if you don't complete the paper and come back, let us say some random question was there, you have no idea, okay fine, you can't generate anything, it's okay, agreed. You, sir, I know what to write, but I could not attempt it, 2-3 questions I missed out, so then it's impossible obviously to get into the top 100. It's impossible. Everybody, whoever has given 1 or 2 mains will have a very, very clear idea about that. Yeah, so just first point is notes. Second point is make sure that you revise it properly. And then comes your test. Within test, what you have to do again when you keep revising, you have to keep on writing answers for your PYQs. If you get a hold on, let's say PYQs from 2013 to 2024, that itself will give you minimum 12 questions minimum guaranteed. Because every year more or less same questions from same themes will repeat. Of course, they'll add a dimension. In this level of competitive exam, you cannot expect the same question, verbatim, they'll not copy paste. But it will get repeated. For example, just for you to understand, I'm telling you go look at governance topic, because I do it GS2 detail, I can tell about that in detail. You go look at governance topic, open SHG topic. You look at whatever, almost every alternative they ask question. Either they'll ask SHG women empowerment, SHG rural development, SHG microfinancing, or MFI SHG leading to poverty, malnutrition, or socio-economic, something like that in and around only they have to ask. One or other dimension or keyword they'll add. If you have core content for this, let's say 2-3 sites, another dimension, it will just get generated based on your content, you can easily manage that. Right from your introduction to major arguments to major examples, 60% to 70% of content, you can still use the same content. Another that 1/3 is where the challenge comes, where at that moment, depending on the challenge, you have to be dynamic, generate the points, keep on, make sure that you repeat the keywords of the question. So that is how you have to do it. If you don't do the analysis and just keep on whatever material is there, because the major challenge with this particular time is what? Over dumping of information. It's impossible, everybody knows to what extent information is overflow there. If you are not able to manage that properly, then we'll just fall behind content. But remember, mains is always 2 things: syllabus, PYQ, syllabus, PYQ. Never ever do anything for mains without keeping syllabus and PYQ in mind. PYQ or syllabus should be in such a way that it's not like, okay, GS2 has polity, governance, SLG, not like that. Each and every subtopic should be there in your mind. The moment they tell Parliament, you should be like, in Parliament, what kind of mains questions do they ask? How the question, nature of questions they have changed. Let's say, for example, if it is, let us say social justice education, you should be like, okay, are they asking question on primary education more, or let us say higher education more, or is it health, if it is health on primary health care more, or universal health coverage more, or digital telemedicine kind of questions more, what are they asking? That specific you should know. Health in general will not work. That level of analysis you will only get if you analyze PYQs from 2013 to 2024. Based on that, work on your notes. If you don't do notes, it's impossible, because this exam has for multiple times is revision. Yeah, that is for, of course, in addition to that, obviously optional is also there, as obviously as Ashish has already noted it down. Remember, optional also more or less same strategy you have to follow. But make sure that, let us say, 10 hours you get for those who are not clear prelims are willing. Means obviously those who are giving now that 70 days, they have to give it like their heart, blood, soul, everything they have to give now. 15 hours also, 12 hours also, anything they need, they have to put it. Because the 70 days will decide their entire 70 years also, even the next few generations also will decide on how are they going to make use of these 70 days. No, that's how it is. Imagine once you get in the top 100 IAS, APS, not only your generation, your next generation also will get the benefit. That is how Indian society is structured around civil services. And so that is the level of importance. Please keep that in mind and prepare. Right? For others, you can give 10 hours, 6 hours you give it for GS. 3 hours, 3.5 hours you give it for optional. 1 hour you give it for your current affairs every single day. So whoever those who are not clear, I am telling now, please make sure that you read the newspaper, you make the notes. Make notes in such a way that you compartmentalize it. Okay, this is polity related, economy related, SLT related, ethics related, essay related, and whenever you study, especially for those who have options like, let us say, public administration or PSA or sociology kind of thing, try to link any current affairs. If you don't make your own notes and only depend on whatever magazines, content part might still be the same. But you look at anybody who has got it, whoever reads regularly, newspaper, something like that, or any other additional ones, they'll have much better, broader understanding. Because again, look at your UPSC notification, they have clearly told this exam is not just a test of your memory or information. It is your ability to understand, ability to analyze, and ability to take a stand on socio-economic issues or relevant socio-economic issues. If you just have information, I know World Bank facts, I know Niti Aayog facts, it will work. Not everything. Argument analysis is first, then comes your substantiation. And so all that will come with huge practice. So structure it accordingly till mains 100%. Or even if you have that level of doubt, sir, I have already given 2-3 attempts, but you are not clearing prelims. Further, we will discuss later. I am telling whatever we discussed till now is for home. Done basics. Just started last year. I have just done the basic like OJT classes, and just finished the optional, but nothing done anything for mains. I largely spoke about them. Let us say, for example, those who are, let's say, gave already 2-3 attempts, for some reason not able to clear prelims, or have already given mains once or twice or whatever once, but could not do it. As I have already told, for them the best thing that can happen is, just because she is here and then she has been in touch for at least for almost 6 months, 1 year. Please join the core batch one, because it will give you a very streamlined preparation. Every day and out you can keep preparing. They have structured it accordingly. Stick to the core batch timetable. For those I am telling what basics is done, but let us say partially notes is done, partially it is not done. Sir, I have notes for, let's say, polity I have, but social justice I still told I don't have, economy I have, but disaster management I don't have, agriculture I don't have. But if you join for core batch kind of everything, your next 6 months is fixed. You can keep on going with that almost every, probably at least 2-3 days, I think they'll have tests. You can stick to that, you can keep preparing your notes and then again go revise, you'll get a peer group based on your optional or based on other things. You will get a streamlined preparation. But again, go back completely for prelims. That's going to be affected. Stick to mains till December at any cost. That's the key. Sure. So based on that, you have to structure it. And obviously, for example, for those who are like, sir, I don't have to do anything, everything is done, but I want to be in the touch now. Then obviously IBM kind of things will be there that we can discuss later. I'm talking about these aspects. Right, now let's Ashish sir again deal with the other things, then again we'll come back.
So,
Okay.
you can be a sir. So, sir, just now I have noted down the few points when you were discussing. As there are few students who have written one or two mains, one of the main, right? So, the students who are writing the mains and who are watching the online right now, there are two major problems, sir. First is what they want is additional 30 to 40 marks, right? They want this additional 30 to 40 marks. Now, question is from where you can get this 40 to 50 marks. Am I right? Correct? This is what happened with you guys. What is the strategy that you have to get this time? If you are writing the mains, one, as you said, come on. First, as you said rightly, you are focusing mainly upon so-called as essay. Okay, ठीक है. Ethics. Okay. Essay and ethics you could not do. Essay and ethics.
Ethics and optional also.
Yeah. So how will you improve? If I say that you are getting good amount of marks, but if you want to improve another 40 marks, there are 2 to 3 ways through which you can improve. This is how I had improved in my mains. One is extreme hard work, which everyone does. What I feel is to get this 40 marks extra, strategy is the most important. Correct? One strategy, what I mean by this strategy is very simple. One, as the students have, to get this additional 40 to 50 marks. 50 marks extra in the mains examination. Pehla, as you said, essay and ethics you are going to prepare. Correct? One. Let us assume you were able to improve this. But now, do you have any plan for how you can improve the marks in the GS paper 1, 2 and 3? That is the question. To improve the marks in GS paper 1 and 2 and 3, this is for especially for students who are writing the mains. Most important is how you plan in actual exam in 3 hours. Actual exam in 3 hours mein what you do. For example, imagine if you are writing this year mains. Imagine if you are writing this year mains 1, 2, 3 till 10 markers. Then 11, 12 till another. This is the question paper. Then what I will suggest you guys who are missing the marks, if you want to improve 50 marks, first compulsorily attend 15 markers ka question. First suggestion. Second suggestion, imagine if I am dealing with GS paper 3. GS paper 3 mein compulsorily in last 5 years, question number 1, 2, question number 11, 12 are from economy at any cost. Matlab only 4 questions. That is 50 marks of the paper. Correct? Question number 3, question number 4, question number 13, question number 14 is from agriculture. 50 marks of the paper. Question number 9, question number 10, question number 19, question number 20 is compulsory from internal security. 50 markers. Correct? 100% themes are repeated. Now my question is, tell me one thing. The person who is evaluating economy, will he evaluate internal security or will he evaluate agriculture? Does UPSC have given any guidelines? UPSC ने कुछ बोला है क्या? I do remember, sir, in 2015 there was a question on Uniform Civil Code. I was not able to recall the article number, but still in GS paper 2 I got very good marks. From that paper, at that time I was for the civil service, I qualified for the interview. I got very good marks in GS paper 2. What I understood is that the person who is checking paper 2 ka polity will not evaluate IR. Understand this. So my strategy, my way of is in this GS3, for example, similarly for GS2 also and GS3 also, if I am able to write, there are 3 ways to complete the paper. 3 hours, how you do? Students divided in 3 ways. Strategy number 1, first hour, second hour and third hour. First hour में 7 questions लिखो, second hours में 7 questions and third hour में कम questions रखो deliberately. Correct? This is one way to complete the paper. Second way to complete the paper is 10 marks के लिए 7.2 minutes ले लो and 15 marks के लिए 9 minutes ले लो average. Correct? Now to count it on analog in that pressure is very difficult. Am I right? So what I did, my strategy, try to implement this 100% the mocks, it will helpful. मैं क्या करता था? I know that 100% 1 and 2, 11 12 economy है. 3,4, 13,14 ये पूरा का पूरा एग्रीकल्चर है. 9,10, 19,20 ये बेसिकली सो कॉल्ड एज इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी है. 100% सेम इज फॉर जीएस पेपर 2. करेक्ट सर. गवर्नेंस का भी क्वेश्चन नंबर्स फिक्स है. ओरिजिनल ऑफिशियल पेपर निकालो, यू विल फाइंड दिस स्ट्रक्चर ओनली. मैंने क्या किया था, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इकोनॉमी, एग्री एंड बेसिकली इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी. इफ यू आर वेरी गुड इन डायग्राम एंड बेसिकली एंड अदर एस्पेक्ट्स, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कौन सा क्वेश्चन अच्छा लिख सकते हो. फॉर मी ऑलवेज इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी एंड इकोनॉमी यूज्ड टू बी फर्स्ट. उसमें भी मैं क्या करता था, पहला इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी का 15 मार्क्स का लिखता था. मतलब फर्स्ट व्हाट आई विल डू, क्वेश्चन नंबर 19, क्वेश्चन नंबर 20, क्वेश्चन नंबर 9 एंड क्वेश्चन नंबर 10 एक साथ लिखूंगा मैं इन अ साइलोस, एक सेपरेट. हम लोग क्या करते हैं 1 to 10, 11 to 30. योर माइंड वर्क्स इन अ मोमेंटम. इमेजिन इकोनॉमी का क्वेश्चन इज एक्सप्लेन हाउ डज द सेविंग रेट अफेक्ट द इंडियन इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट. अरे यार सेविंग रेट्स क्या है, कितना इंडिया का, करेक्ट ना, हुआ ना ऐसे ही. करेक्ट. हाउ डज द लेबर प्रोडक्टिविटी अफेक्ट द इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ और बेसिकली एनी ग्रोथ. अगेन यू विल गेट स्टक अप. क्वेश्चन नंबर 4, explain the meaning of allelopathy, how it has affected the Indian agriculture. झटका बैठा ना, exactly वैसे होता है. Your mind will get stuck because of few of the questions. So best way to answer is what I did. This what you try to do is directly पहले 15 मार्कर्स का क्वेश्चन उठाया मैंने and बाद में what I have done is basically 10 मार्कर्स का क्वेश्चन. करेक्ट. सो मेरे दिमाग में मैंने एक घड़ी डाला था, that is none other than this 9 markers. मतलब the paper will start at 9 o'clock. So 9 to 9:09, correct? 9:09 to basically 9:18, correct? Then this is 10 markers. 9:18 to basically 9:25 and 9:25 to basically 9:32. Am I right? 7 markers, 7 minutes, 9:09. इसका मतलब है by 9:32 at any cost I will complete this component. 100% ऐसा ही करता था मैं. Not brought my official answer mark sheets. I will show you never ever I have scored less than 180. That was my least score in GS paper 3. इसका रीजन एक ही था, स्ट्रैटेजिक था मैं, बस बाकी कुछ नहीं. पहला मैंने उठाया 1920, इसमें 100% डायग्राम, 2 क्वेश्चन आएगा. 1 क्वेश्चन विल बी ऑन बॉर्डर, सेकंड साइबर सिक्योरिटी. पक्का मेरे पास दिमाग में ऑलरेडी डेटा है. हियर ऑर्गेनाइज कराएंगे, फिर कुछ तो रहेगा 1 आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स. आई विल इजीली मैनेज. Immediately then I will choose it from this silos. Same. Now I will come to this part. अब मेरा शुरू होगा एग्जाम्पल इकोनॉमी. इकोनॉमी में पहले 11, 12, let us consider 1, 2. 11, 12, 9 minutes, correct? 9:32 to basically 9. Now it's coming to 41. 9:41 to basically 9:50. 9:50 to 9:57, right? And basically 9:57 to basically so called as 10 बज के basically 5 minutes. मेरा 8 questions, if you are able to write this 8 questions in this 1 hour with this precision, you will get complete confidence in the remaining. Exactly same if you do it for GS paper 2. Polity का पहले उठाया, IR उठाया, depending upon your strength and weaknesses. If you are doing in this way, your mind and the flow that you get in the examination, that momentum that you get in the examination is of next level. This is what I find missing in the student, because उनको पता ही नहीं कि भाई साहब ये इकोनॉमी है, ये है बेसिकली एग्रीकल्चर है, दिस इज इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी, इसके बीच में लास्ट इज दिस इज 18 नंबर इज डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट. करेक्ट. ये पता ही नहीं आपको, मुझे पूरा पता है. दिस इज कॉल्ड एज एनालिसिस. The same you do it for GS paper 2 also. This is what I understand. So to get this 50 marks extra, plan GS paper 1 to 3 accordingly. You can have your own strategy, but output wise more better will be, output will be coming if you are writing more number of more marks of question. That is 15 marks now. Now coming to one more basically point. Out of this 20, how one should write? If you ask my experience about GS paper 3, out of 20 question in the recent times, all of the questions are generally towards easier side. I'm not saying you are getting more marks, I'm saying questions are doable. So how much you should write? Out of 20, especially for GS paper 3, ideally, मेरे हिसाब से 16 questions you should write very good. 2 to 3 questions you have to make the content in the examination 100%, and always one question will be bouncer. करेक्ट. सो ये न्यूजेंस क्रिएट करने वाले 3 या 4 क्वेश्चन ही होते हैं हमेशा. ऑलवेज. दिस इज 100% in any paper. These 3 to 4 questions will make you stuck in the examination. So in that first 5 minutes when you get the paper, you see क्वेश्चंस कैसा है, कौन से एरियाज में कैसा क्वेश्चन है, मैं पहला कौन सा करूंगा, कौन सा नहीं करूंगा. यू कैन बी वेरी फ्लेक्सिबल विथ योर स्ट्रेटेजी, बट एट एनी कॉस्ट यू हैव टू राइट 16 to 17 questions very good. Now tomorrow there is very high chances that 20 questions can be all easy only. Then you have to write all only. But in general I am saying, especially in the last basically so called as 4 years, 17 questions are easy, 16 to 17 questions are easy. 2 to 3 questions you have to generate the content in the examination, and 1 question can be out of the box. Example I will give. In GS paper 3, if you just consider, ये पूरे GS paper 3 में all the paper is traditional. जो एक क्वेश्चन आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स होता है ना, वो कौन से सेक्शन का होता है, जिसने सेकंड मींस कौन सा होता है, एक ही एरिया है, साइंस एंड टेक. एक क्वेश्चन आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स बाउंसर ही रहेगा. आई नो दिस बिफोर गोइंग टू एग्जाम, और मेरे पास स्ट्रैटेजी भी है. आउटपुट मेरा ज़्यादा आएगा डिस्पाइट यू बीइंग मोर नॉलेजेबल देन मी. हियर व्हाट वर्क्स इज बेसिकली द प्लान in actual 3 hours. So this is, sir, most important point which I want to speak about this, that is 20 questions, how do you manage. Secondly, about the time management. For my, the time management was rather than this, these are 3 ways in which you can manage the time. One is this way, second is like this way, that is so called as dividing it into the this way 7.2 वगैरह. But doing this is very difficult. तो मैंने क्या किया था, दिमाग में डाला था, डेफिनेटली आई विल, फॉर एग्जांपल इफ आई एम स्टार्टिंग विद इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी, मैं पहले 9:32 तक मेरा 4 क्वेश्चंस होना चाहिए. करेक्ट. यहाँ पे मेरा 10:05 तक पूरा 4 क्वेश्चंस होना चाहिए. इफ आई डू दिस, बिकॉज इन द मीन्स क्वांटिटी एंड क्वालिटी बोथ मैटर्स. सर मैंने 14 क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छा लिख के आया, मीन्स पक्का नहीं होगा, गारंटी. 5 क्वेश्चंस यू आर लीविंग. 5 क्वेश्चंस का मतलब क्या होता है, एटलीस्ट 50 marks. 50 into 3 पेपर्स में 50 marks, 150 marks. 150 marks if you are leaving, कैसे होगा भाई साहब? Am I right? So both should be ensured, quantity and quality. How? In this way, that is 16 to 17 questions you should write compulsory, very good. 2 to 3 questions you need to generate the content. 1 question will be out of the box. हमारा टारगेट है 19 questions, याद रखना है. 20 if the question is easy, we'll target all. मैं प्रैक्टिकल चीज की बात कर रहा हूँ, आइडियल 20 ही लिखना है, राइट. सो दिस आर द सर मेजर पॉइंट्स व्हिच आई वांटेड टू फोकस अबाउट द टाइम मैनेजमेंट. एंड वन मोर थिंग सर, नाउअडेज देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ, आई वुड से, guidance. There are various hundreds of tutors, YouTube पे इधर उधर. The one who have really done this, who have really worked on this, trust me, follow 1 or 2 people, बात खत्म. No, at the end, in this 70 days, you will end up in missing up many things, because सिर्फ टाइम है आपके पास 70 days. हाँ, मैं इसका सुनूँ, ये कोर्स करूँ या वो करूँ, एक पकड़ लिया ना, ट्रस्ट इट, डू इट, दैट्स इट. Getting the point. I hope you understand. These are the major points which I wanted to focus, sir, just to add the certain points, right?
Sir, I had prepared because it was my first means, it was all scattered, I could not revise it properly. And when you don't revise, you ask anybody who has written means, all of a sudden your introduction will not flow. All of a sudden your conclusion will not flow. All of a sudden arguments will not flow. Second major challenge, sir, because it was first means I was not able to attempt too many test papers, I mean mocks, what do you call it as. That was also a big challenge. Then 3, as Ashish sir identified in the beginning itself, some or other reason we'll focus too much on either GS, or because this optional would have been anthro, you might have failed because chances are there that I might get 290, 300. Essay would have little lagged. Unable to give too many marks. And essay, you know, another bigger one actually, because Ashish sir is handling GS3 also. A lot of people think, okay, GS3 anyhow they are scaling up now. 90 is very, 90 itself is highest. Should I give more focus or not? That's not the question at all, because remember, it's ultimately everything is what relative. If average is 75, you should get 85. It is not like, okay, I should get 110 only. The game is not in that. Even if, let us say, for example, GS3, if you know the overall score, like from the last 10 years, for a long time, GS3 used to get more. GS3, whatever GS2 is now like 120 plus people are able to score. GS3 was like that for a very long time. In the last 3-4 years only, it has come back to GS2. So just because essay they have given this year 130 plus 140 plus doesn't mean they are going to give the next time the same. They may
See, ultimately, even if they do scaling, the game is if the average student is getting 100, you should get 110 plus. If the average student is scoring in 70s in GS3, you should be 85, 90 plus. That because ultimately it's like you should be plus 10 in every GS, plus 10 in every optional paper, plus 10 or if possible in essay, plus 20 also is possible because students have scored what 80s also, 90s also in essay I think this time. And okay, exceptional, let's say someone will tell 140, but you still have scope to get 120s and 130. 125 to 130 you have. It's a huge score of what, 50, not 15, sorry, 25 to 30 marks. That's a very, very huge score.
Sir, I will also like to add that what he said rightly, that what the challenge he faced, hurrying up in last half hour to write 4 or 5 questions, one. Secondly, too much bulky content, lack of revision, correct? And too much of overloading, not planning it in right way. He knew everything. Why was this happening? The root cause is only one thing, that you are not understanding that time is limited. If you know that the time is limited, and if you think in a reverse engineering manner, 100% you will plan it accordingly. For example, now if he is writing his second mains, he will definitely keep two revision ke liye separate time. If he is keeping this separate time, then by default the planning will become more systematic. Now if he knows, and in GS paper 3 or GS paper 2, that this is how 50 marks question along with 10 markers if I write together, it is much more better. That is called as strategy and planning. If you do it this in the right way and practice it in the mocks for 2 to 3 mocks, 100% additional 40-50 marks ka edge will be there, because as he has written his first mains, or as that guy has written the second mains, SRE out of this total 12,000 students who are now cleared, 12.5 thousand students who have cleared this year means, usme se 6,000 or 5,000 can be the new beginners. They will also commit the same mistake. They will not able to basically cope up with the mammoth syllabus. So actual competition बचेगा 6,000 to 7,000 बच्चों के बीच में ही. And out of that 7,000, 3,000 will go for interview. So actually, if you are more strategic, there itself you can take the edge. Question is about strategy and planning. Understand this. Everyone is working harder. Everyone have the basic idea about the books. But how you improvise it in the examination hall, that is a challenge. Whether you are able to write that, whether you are able to maintain a flow. For example, as he rightly said, he was able to complete GS paper 2 and 3, but not paper 1. He was not able to complete the paper 1, 2 or 3 questions, and in ethics, the quotation based questions were difficult. I will tell you, in GS paper 1, what might have happened with me. I will tell you. In GS paper 1, you are having total 20 questions. 9 questions are there from geography. Remaining are 11 questions. Out of that 11 questions, 4 questions are from society. Remaining 6 questions, 4 to 5 questions are from society, and 6 questions are there from history. Am I right? अब शुरू किया लिखना आप लोगों ने, and as you start to write, you will find ancient का questions. Correct? Or ancient का questions are bit tricky, where you have to gather a lot of content, or you should know precisely detailed point, which is very difficult to gather in that first 5 to 10 minutes in the examination hall. Then the question is, why to write ancient का पहला question? लिखो ना पूरा geography का 9 questions. At the end of the day, marks will matter. कौन सा question लिखा है, that does not matter. Am I right? If you would have written, just imagine, if he was very good at the writing and the diagrams, if you would have written all the 9 questions of geography first, then society, and then history, result would might have been something different. Plus, he would have scored much more better mark, because imagine the psychological advantage that you get in the examination, that in first 1 hour 10 minutes you have completed 9 questions. ये कितना बड़ा advantage है psychological, you can't imagine. So it's all about the momentum and the psychology in the examination. So always make sure that you have certain strengths and weaknesses. So क्यों लिखना है? For example, to gather that, why is that कि all battle of Panipat are found in Panipat only? क्यों होता है? To gather the content and the reasons in examination is very difficult. Correct? For example, how is this Buddhist architecture reflected in basically stupas? क्या क्या gather करोगे content? Write about basically the particular architecture they asked about from northeast last time. कैसे gather करोगे content? Very difficult. So क्यों उसको हाथ लगा रहे हो पहला? Easy questions are there ना below. Write those. I hope you're understanding. समझ में आ रहा है? So if you do this ना, you have to have that planning. और वो क्यों नहीं हुआ planning? Because original paper देखने के लिए time ही नहीं मिला ना. क्यों नहीं मिला time original paper? Because digital age है. lot of content is there, lot of YouTubers are there which are giving you thousands of content ऐसा वैसा, original paper देखने के लिए कोई बोलता ही नहीं. Trust me, until unless you see original UPSC papers, it is very difficult to make through this examination, because that will provide you roadmap. Now you tell me this part which I spoke about, this part किसी ने बोला है क्या? किसी ने नहीं बोला. ये ओरिजिनल पेपर जब मैंने देखा, अरे यार ये 4 ही क्वेश्चन है और ये 4 क्वेश्चन से आते हैं इकोनॉमी के, ये 4 क्वेश्चन सर इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी की है. कब? पिछले 6 साल से, सिंस पास्ट 6 years. How I came to know? From original papers. Until unless I see that, how will I understand it? Because we are not finding time to do this, please give some time for PYQ analysis and making your own strategy. Is it clear?
See, my suggestion is, if you are starting now, make sure that at least 6 to 8 months completely dedicated for foundation. Like every subjects. Once you make sure that you finish all your whatever, right from polity to economy to environment to geography, everything, NCRT and basic reference book, just focus on finishing that. Then we'll come back to the mains mode. So this actually, I mean, whatever we discuss now is not for you. Not for you at present. Like another 8 months, 10 months, then you can start with this. For those others, please talk about that. Anybody else, you guys have any specific ones, or you guys, I mean, any specific challenges or doubts you had? So as we have already discussed, do you have like basic content part, everything is ready? Almost all GS optional, everything done. Okay, so have you already given 3-hour test, everything? Okay, fine. So that means you have already given too many things. How many questions are you able to complete as of now? In 3 hours, on an average? 17 to 18. Okay. So that means, yeah, if you write more, and as Vinay Sir had told in the beginning itself, make sure that every single day you write. Let us say, for example, for those giving this means now, minimum, as against Ashish Sir divided the time and told, like on an average every week, make sure that you write 1 GS minimum full length 3 hours. Don't try to write like 1 hour test, 1.5 hour test. Rather than that, my suggestion, every week minimum 1 GS 3 hour, minimum 1 optional 3 hour, minimum 1 essay. Essay you keep it constant, because essay you have a huge advantage. It may go right from 80 to 150, not sorry 150, let's say 140 maximum, let's say 135 means. So make sure that every week you give that, and every single day, let's say Sunday or Saturday you have your test. Don't function in such a way that I'll only go and write that 3-hour test. Every single day, at least half an hour or 45 minutes for your GS, for your optional. 1 hour should go for writing every single day. Whatever you are revising, let us say for example, let's say you have in whatever test series you are joined, in that you have a ethics test this week. You will be revising that ethics syllabus. Make sure that whatever you read today, try to attempt PYQs. Minimum 3 to 4 every single day. Keep timer and try to write. Never ever write, as he was Sir was pointing out, 7 minutes or 7.2 minutes or 9 minutes, 9.5 minutes. Make sure that you keep the timer and write. The more and more regularly you'll write, you would have identified those challenges, right? Let's say for example, sir, I have some presentation issue. See if you can increase your font size. If you can't do that, see if you can spacing between the words, spacing between the lines. Can I go for more tabular column, mind map? Or it happens in geography, security, maps, India map, world map, please work on those things. Remember always, 0.5 mark in every question itself is a game. Because on an average, every serious students, if they complete the paper or address the demand also, 4.5 to get 5 will get, or 4.5 will get. Getting that 5 is the challenge. 0.5 mark for every question means what? 10 mark in every paper. That's what is the game. Ultimately, that itself is the game. So for that, imagine how much of effort will go, right from your presentation to maybe specific keywords. You know that specific language, right? Normally everybody will keep telling that if it's an urban flooding question in GS1, geography perspective, if it is in, let us say for example, GS3, disaster management perspective, interlinking of rivers, all those things. So Sir will be more good in that, because geography, everything will handle, environment, disaster, everything. So the language, the words you use, arguments you use are different. If the question is on, let us say for example, what do you call as this, globalization in GS2, it's a bit different touch. If it's in GS1, it's a bit different touch. Or if everything matters, that language, keywords, everything will matter a lot. If you have presentation issue, please work on that. Don't take it for, what do you call as this, granted. All those things will have a very, very huge impact. 0.5 to 1 mark for every question is the game. And it looks like presentation is a common thing, why should it matter? This in this exam presentation matters a lot. Not like calligraphy kind of handwriting, but the evaluator should be able to read very quickly. That's the game. Fine, let's say, I mean, just as a rule, I am telling 15-20 seconds more than that, evaluator should not correct your question. He should be like, okay, fine, I understood. She has addressed the demand of the question. She has used the relevant keywords wherever possible. Facts are there, maps are there, or mind map is there, or India map, whatever it is. They should go through your question very quickly as soon as possible. Keywords only will matter. That's why remember they keep telling keywords, because you cannot expect them to read from start to end everything. Not so easy. Practically, you go and ask even Insights evaluator also. Practically, you can't expect them to read from first word to last word. We are assuming it. Practically, even when we correct, it's not so okay. If you sit before us, you'll be like, okay, line by line, we'll do it. In general, where will you sit with the evaluator here? Evaluator will be somewhere else. They'll just go through the keyword. You should make their life very, very easy. For that will come only with lot of keywords, especially those writing this means whenever you revise anything, like any topic, let's say for example federalism you're revising, make sure that you write down that short notes kind of a one, definition, keywords, major judgments, major article, or whatever other things, whatever you have, let's say Ambedkar quote or SR Momai Supreme, something like that, make sure that you note down those short notes. Short notes matter a lot, as he was telling, short notes matter a lot. Just keep noting it down, keep noting. One, it will help you for your, it will go into your subconscious mind. Two, it will help you at your last minute. Especially this is for those writing now. For others, as I told, we have a little long-term strategy. Those who are not basic stage or have everything done, but I did not, for some reason did not clear. Core batch is the best thing. We are again telling it's a long-time trusted strategy. Or others, as I told, it depends. Will you discuss personally again? Because we'll talk about that individually. Anything else you guys want to ask? Aisha, any doubts or anybody else? Why I did not clear prelims, that we need to discuss separately. That's a prelims related strategy. So this is mostly for your post prelims, what to be done. Prelims challenges, whatever you found it in the, that's a different, we have to discuss separately for that.
So right now this is the time for mains only, sir.
Yeah, correct.
So either you are writing the mains or not now or next year. Definitely the way we have decoded just now, I spoke about GS3 and something, vision, test, everything. I'm going to start it on 14th of June, that is on Saturday. Please do join me either offline or online. The online classes will not be live. Remember this. The link I will try to provide in this description box itself. You just register it and then you can watch it. Definitely such type of things will help you to improve 5 or 10 marks. That I will guarantee. That is my guarantee. Correct? So please do come on Saturday for GS paper 3 intensive bridge course, and I hope that the students who are writing this means it was quite helpful how to plan the things, and the students who are going to write next time will also this idea you have got what to do and what not to do. Correct? So we hope that this session was a bit helpful. Thank you everyone. Thank you.